No, we don't see this very often, you and me, John. How do you feel about the
Hmm.
pattern pick?
I'm not too sure here, Mike. I feel like it's on paper it's quite good. As you mentioned, the shield is really good
10
for
seconds
counteracting that
remaining.
lasso coming out. It's pretty potent in lane. It can definitely
5
bully off
seconds
melee course
remaining.
quite fine. It can be a menace in that off lane. It's been a while since you and I have seen it. Really, I feel like we have seen Ohio play this hero before in that off lane, so at least once. It's definitely not the hero you think of when you think of Ohio, but I feel like we have seen him play it before in the year that we've covered these sort of games. So I wouldn't be too surprised if he jumps on that hero in the off lane. And Ohio just has a way of really making anything work in the off lane, at least in his own item timings. Although in the last game it just felt a bit underwhelming with the Underlord, but that is down to just the hero being so out of it. I am a bit worried for Lotac here, as I feel like Abaddon's not been in the best spot for a while. He has received a few changes here and there, a few number tweaks here and there, but I just feel like the hero is he's not been amazing for a while, Mike, and I'm fairly sure there's a good reason why. It's just that I feel like he doesn't take towers fast enough. He doesn't have a good wave clear. He doesn't have the most amazing way of just farming back. He isn't the most amazing hero in team fights. It just feels like the hero's in a weird spot where his kit doesn't provide you with too much for your team. It's definitely not the focus of this meta at all. We'll see if Lotac can work it out. I'm just mildly worried with these picks, Mike. It's just been quite odd. I mean, first game you had the Underlord coming out, the Silencer as well, counteract that Enigma, and now at this time around we have the Abaddon coming out from Lotac, and I'm just a bit worried, Mike.
Well, the Death Prophet was there from DeToNator. It's one of those picks, John. It's, if played correctly, so darn powerful.
10 seconds remaining.
So much push comes out from this hero, and I mean, you always mention you've got to play around that exorcism timing, but it's not exactly too hard to do, especially for a side like DeToNator that have been playing together for a while. We'll just wait out a couple more bans before we get to see what comes out next. Of course, Lotac, they do give the respect to the Lifestealer and get rid of him immediately. DeToNator, what will their last ban be, I wonder?
10 seconds remaining.
Both, I mean, at the very least, Lotac is missing a core to put in the
5
mid lane
seconds
up against
remaining.
that Death Prophet.
Yeah, it does look like it. I'm not sure exactly what you ban out here. I feel like, yeah, I guess the puck's a fair enough ban. Just jumping in and out, clearing your backline, reaching that keeper for light before it can have an impact would have been pretty big for Lotac. So just that puck ban, there is some value in that for DeToNator. It looks like they do lack a safe laner of their own, unless they run a Port Sven, which we've seen a couple of teams do, but I'm
10
really not
seconds
sure how
remaining.
in vogue that is outside of China. The only team we really saw that do was, I
5
believe,
seconds
PSG, LGD. So maybe that it's definitely not the norm for the hero. It's definitely much more common as a pos 4 sort of transitioning sport. So let's see what DeToNator does pick up to cover their
Radiant
bases here.
team picked.
It
Ah,
will be the Terrorblade, apparently, so this hero just never seems to be out of meta as of late. Like, it always pops up here and there, and it always really leaves a splash. Definitely looking very scary for the side of Lotac. I'm not going to lie, John. I think you'd agree with me on this one. So perhaps their last pick will change our minds.
10 seconds remaining.
I
Not
do
sh-
like that pick for
5
DeToNator.
seconds
I mean, it works quite well against the Abaddon. Just holding if you drop low while Abaddon is trying
You
to
may now select
regen
your
through
heroes.
his ultimate, just swap health after and he's dead. Lotac does close out with Lina. It's fairly standard pick, nothing too flashy for that mid lane for what you want to play up against the DP. This is a matchup we haven't seen in a while, Mike. It's been a while since we've seen DP against Lina. I feel like that is definitely something the DP does win out. As long as she has a good amount of siphons left, she can definitely hold that lane.
Yeah. Inchuan is a fantastic laner player. Let's not forget, but in terms of draft, it's not looking great for Lotac. I mean, they can get a great start again, but they're going to have to keep that start up. We'll see if they can replicate their early game that they had in game number 1. But there's just
10
so many
seconds remaining.
plays you have to keep down on the side of DeToNator before they get out of control.
5 seconds remaining.
See how well they can get the job done. Of course, Raging Potato, we are just waiting for him to pick up that Terrorblade. I mean, last game, we saw what happened, Johnny. They just left him alone in that offlane with his supports. And I mean, there wasn't much Ohio could do as an Underlord to shut him down on that lifestealer. Perhaps with the Terrorblade, it may be a bit easier to try and shut down this kind of carry, but you're going to have to ensure that happens because, I mean, Skem, he didn't have the worst timing either on that Battle Fury, on that Troll Warlord in game number 1, but it just really didn't seem to matter at all.
Yeah, definitely didn't. I mean, he didn't have enough space to farm in that jungle. The activity from DeToNator, their movement, their aggression just made it so that that early pickup just didn't pay off for Lotac, and they definitely needed to pay off now, Mike. I like, again, in terms of the draft, Lotac is fairly balanced enough. That Lena last pick definitely hurts the Terrorblade quite a fair bit, because again, Terrorblade he has a high amount of EHP coming out from his armor. Straight up magic will pretty much melt the TB, so I do like that pick from Lotac. But again, when it comes down to the overall draft, it just feels like it feels a bit too slow coming out from Lotac. We'll see how it rolls out here, of course, but again, I just can't be that confident in this
Prepare
in this Abaddon pick. It's just been so long since we've seen this hero pop out. There's a reason why this hero has definitely tapered off hard. We'll see if Lotac can make it work, and here's the pause, right?
Absolutely. Standard SCA pause, one of our favorites. And as usual, John, absolutely no reasoning for the pause. Just a wait is all we'll get. That's perfectly fine.
Nah. It's just waiting. Waiting's a virtue, Mike. Patience is a virtue in Southeast Asia. Continually reminds us to keep it in check.
It looks like Sam H was having some sort of connection issue, so we'll just wait on him. Of course, you'd hope this game was slightly longer than the last one, because I don't remember the exact timing, but it wasn't too far off 20 minutes that DeToNator finished game number 1.
I believe it was around 26 minutes, Mike.
Right.
Yeah, definitely not a long game. Not the fastest one we've seen, but I think that was the fastest one we've seen in 7.21 ourselves, at the very least. So it was fairly quick as all things go, and hopefully this time around, Lotac can make their draft work out a bit better. I know. I mean, I just can't feel too confident again. Abaddon, it's a great hero. It's just it hasn't popped out for a reason, Mike.
Well, he has already queued up that Midas as well. It looks like Ohio trying to get that fast farm up on this Abaddon. We'll keep an eye on him. We'll see how fast he can get that up. Of course, DeToNator again, going for a very, very early smoke, drawing that same line out like they did in game 1. However, this time they will find Chuan. Chuan will go into the tree line for the moment. Start of DeToNator. Barely missing out, although they will find some more heroes to the right. Things come out, Yamate, throughout the spirit. Looks like there won't be any kind of engagement coming up from the side of Lotac. Though I say that, they will stick around. Raven is going to be there. Scam just hanging around that T2 tower. And Ara is looping around. Does have the stun up and ready to go. Sam H, of course, gets started with the sticky napalm. There should just be another 2 for 2 in terms of bounty runes. Ara just trying to threaten Raven just a little bit.
The battle begins.
Ohio will be able to get himself 2 very easy bounty runes up at that top lane.
Yeah, again, not too much going on yet. I am keen to see how DeToNator does run the lanes. Are they going to go for this tri-lane down bot, or are they going to give a bit more support up top? It does look like they will just do a tri-lane down bot. We do see Raging Potato making his way down there. Flights all the way far forward, and a restart is needed, apparently. So, a bit more of a wait, Mike. Mouse problems coming up.
No, absolutely. Does look like they gave the early brown boots over to Raven on that Shadow Shaman as well. In fact, never mind, no restart necessary.
Oh. Okay, that was quick, but interesting. Yeah, the brown boots are out for Raven. Not the most common start for Shadow Shamans, I have to say. In fact, I think it's been a while since you really... It's not many sports you see go for the early browns. It does take a bit away from your lane sustain.
Nevertheless, Ohio will make the rotation back down to the safe lane. We'll just dual lane with Raven for the moment. Yamate and Skem will be up at that off lane. Sam H is just there by himself. Does look like it's a dual lane at the bot lane as it stands right now. Fly Solo will be waiting for the courier in the mid lane, and it is making its way up. Does have the talisman recipe. Of course, will be given to the way of Chuan, but can he get the courier? It looks like he can. A very nice play coming up from Fly Solo, though he may give his own life away, and in fact, no, he won't. He will make his way out of there safely. Again, that's a really nice start for the side of the Dire.
Definitely is. Too bad he couldn't slow down that null, but, you know, all things considered, it's not the biggest pickup for Chuan. He's going to be missing out on a lot more sustain for himself in this lane, and you definitely need a lot of sustain going up against something like a DP, who can naturally just stay in the lane no matter how much harass you pump out. So it's going to be hard for Chuan to really match up here if Ben-Hur plays his cards right for the next few minutes.
Absolutely. Fly Solo does make his way up top. They will run the dual lane on the side of DeToNator. Looks like Lotac has switched it up and are actually running an aggressive tri-lane now. And they have left Ohio once again by himself at that bot lane, up against the dual lane of Raging Potato. And of course, RR on that Sven. Looks like he may cop some harassment right here, right now. And in fact, they are going to go for a kill. Metamorphosis committed. Ohio uses the shield, but I don't really see him getting out of this one. And a very nice first blood coming out to the way of DeToNator at that 2.5 minute mark.
Yeah, it's a nice clean pickup for DeToNator, and again, there's just really not too much Ohio can do there.
And it isn't a baton. Like, once you've thrown at that shield, it's pretty much all over. You've just got to try and run for it. At the very least, Raven, top lane, will go for the shackles, but he's pretty much doing it by himself. Have any help behind him to actually dish out some damage. But they are getting some decent farm out onto their troll. The Skem is a very happy man. Sam H can't really do much on that Bat Rider to really slow this down. And we saw the same thing last game. And ultimately, they may just prioritize making sure Raging Potato just continues farming up on that Terrorblade rather than even bothering trying to shut down Skem.
Yeah, I think that's a fair enough point. I feel like in this sort of game, if you give the troll early farm and if Skem goes for the same build, he might not have enough time to really, you know, maximize that early investment.
Chuan having a decent time up in that mid lane. Does have his bottle out now. Again, the courier did actually end up respawning rather quickly, so looks like it wasn't really too impactful that that courier had died. Mid lane, Ben-Hur could find himself in danger. You have Raven there on that Shadow Shaman ready to go with the shackles. Chuan will be able to find himself a nice illusion rune to fill up that bottle. Ben-Hur playing very safely on the right side of that mid lane. So you don't really see an option for Raven to really get in there and throw those shackles out. So he does make his way back up to that top lane. It looks like he will just contest Fly Solo a bit on that Keeper of the Light.
Yeah, nice disruptive movement towards that pull. He does grab the last hits for himself, so Raven having a good time here. Probably would have been happier with a kill on Ben-Hur as well, but Ben-Hur's not having a good time down mid. Chuan has definitely been playing it right, spacing himself out just nicely, and there's no real way for Ben-Hur to come in and harass with Spirit Siphon, not with a ranged advantage that Chuan does maintain.
Yeah, that's the thing with Chuan on this laner. Like, you see him playing this hero a lot. He does know it like the back of his hand, and speaking of Raven, gonna pop up mid lane, will show himself, and now he has found Ben-Hur with the shackles. The immediate rotation does come out from RR, and it looks like So far, Ben-Hur is okay. They will actually go after Raven now. Ben-Hur throws out the Crypt Swarm. It probably won't be enough. Cannot continue the chase any further, but he does manage to save his Death Prophet.
Yeah, that was the first Lagoon of the game, Chuan. Just blowing it up like that. Really unfortunate it wasn't successful, but that was a very deep dive from Lotac. Very keen try. Good rotation from DeToNator to counteract that. RR must be feeling pretty glad that he saved the DP, who has been having a bit of a rough time in this mid lane. So, just buying some time for Ben-Hur to get that level 6. It is up, but opts to go instead for another level in the Siphon. So we're not going to see any sort of fast push or team fight coming out from this DP just yet. Should be probably going to be up by level 7, if not level 8 for that level 1 Exorcism. Unless DeToNator's really not keen on forcing any issue and just decides to farm up a bit. I can see the DP also just opting for Mac Crypt Swarm and Siphon in that case.
Well, that's exactly what they did last game around as well on DeToNator. Like, they didn't seem too concerned with early engagements. They just waited for the right time, and then they made their attack once it was right. See RR bot lane as well. He does return, and Raven could find himself in trouble. Raging Potato does have the Metamorphosis up and ready to go, but RR rather does get a nice deep ward down and does have eyes on Raven, and now they want to make the dive. Stun will come out. Metamorphosis comes out as well, and Raven actually getting blocked off by Ohio. Raven, nice shackles from him, but it's probably not going to save his life, and Raging Potato will pick himself up another kill. However, will end up losing his life to Ohio, and now Ohio feels safe to move forward and try to go for this pickup onto the Terrorblade. Will eventually let him go, but dishes out some nice damage, and essentially it just ends up being a 1-for-1 support trade.
Yeah, again, not the biggest trade in the world. That is a support for a support. I feel like that is a slightly bigger win for Lotac, I suppose. At very least, all that, the death of the Sven does go all into Ohio's EXP pool, so it's a slightly bigger win for him. At the same time, it's definitely not the targets he wanted to kill in that lane, Mike.
No, certainly not.
Dire's middle tower is
Well,
under
top lane, fly solo. Getting chased down, though. It looks like they won't really be able to lock him down enough. Skem will just come try and clean up some creeps for himself. Because Raging Potato has started to take over in terms of net worth. Like, he's already 700 gold ahead of the secondary, which is Skem on that Troll Warlord. And we saw the same thing in game number 1.
Dire
Which does kind of indicate a bit of a scare for the side of Lotac, I feel. Again, they have a very similar draft as last game as well. Though, mid lane, they have found Raven and RR with the body blocks are very nice. The Spirit Siphon is there as well. He has no choice but to turn back around, and Ben-Hur will just take him out mid lane. And RR on this Sven has been setting up some very nice kills for his team. Their top lane as well. Looks like Sam H going to make the chase onto Skem. Does not have a lasso available. The Aphotic Shield will be there from Ohio to save the day. Now Sam H going to find himself in danger. He couldn't get up the cliff. It was just a millisecond off. His Firefly does wear out, and well, nevertheless, a nice rotation from Ohio. Now mid lane as well. Ben-Hur trying to go after Raven. It looks like they will be able to find him, though can they find Chuan as well? Alright, he does have the stun available now, and they have found Chuan, though more rotations are coming in. But they're all fighting under that Exorcism, and Ben-Hur going to find another. In fact, Sken comes in, though Blinding Light was there, and he turns back around with that Spirit Siphon. Yamate gonna be in danger. They do have the stick charges on RR for that mana, but rather DeToNator are gonna be satisfied with those kills, and they do back off to safety.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you should really engage a DP who has Exorcism and a bunch of Spirit Siphon stuff.
is under attack.
They did try to contest it. It just wasn't. The timing was definitely way off. The Exorcism went on its way back. Ben-Hur just healed back to full, basically, and you're stuck in an awkward position now where Skem is having to commit in that mid lane, but there's really nothing to show for it.
Well, looks like the whole side of Lotac have switched up lanes.
Radiant's bottom
Skem in the mid, Ohio, he goes into the off lane up against Sam H, but Sam H is okay for the moment. However, Yamate will find the stomp. Ohio just biding his time. Now, can they body block him up enough?
Radiant's
Lane break will come out as well. Sam H may go for the neutral deny, but he won't be there in time, and it's a very nice pickup coming out from Ohio and Yamate.
Yeah, definitely the kill, a kill in core is always good. They do slow down Sam H's timing a bit more. He is still level 5, not quite in that level 6 mark, and definitely nowhere near close to the items he wants yet. Slowly building up, but it's been a rough time for Sam H in this top lane, Mike.
Bot lane now. Raging Potato still been free farming up and now pushing a tier 2 bot tower, and Ohio, the only man there to defend, he is kind of surrounded as well, and looks like the pings are coming out from Lotac to indicate that there are other heroes, although Ohio continues moving forward. Does have the ultimate available just in case he gets himself in danger. Just going to try and force them to back off a bit, and they will do so. I suppose that is one of the strengths about the Abaddon, John. Like, once you've hit that level 7 mark, and well, he is level 9 now, it is very hard to contest an Abaddon.
Yeah, he is definitely a bit too tanky early on in the game. He has a lot of durability and sustain. And with a rework to Curse of Avernus, having a silence of its own, it can be a bit annoying trading hits with him, I feel. But again, question is whether or not Ohio will have the same impact as the game goes on. Right now, it feels like Lotac is buying as much space as they can for his scam to farm up his Battle Fury once again, and once that BF is up, can they control the map to maximize that Battle Fury? DeToNator is already being quite aggressive and active around the jungle on, the bottom Radiant side. I'm not sure if they can find enough space for Scam to farm up again this game.
Well, they're going to go after a higher bot lane. He does have that borrowed time and does pop it immediately, though Blinding Light will send him back, and now he turns around. A very nice stomp, but the Will-O-Wisp will be there to make sure they can't come in and clean up. Though they still haven't found Ohio. Ben-Hur doing a lot of damage, however, with that Spirit Siphon. And now the Serpent Ward's being dropped on Raging Potato. He does manage to get his way out of there, but they are on the runaway. Raging Potato, nice Sunder comes out onto the Troll, and they get Scam as well. Ohio falling very low, but the Laguna will take down Raging Potato. And can they find Ohio? Absolutely not. In fact, never mind, they can. Ben-Hur does find him, just barely, but it's a 2-for-2 trade. And in all honesty, I can't really say who came out on top because both carries did really just go down. Raging Potato was a very high value target.
Yeah, losing Raging Potato isn't the best thing for DeToNator. At the same time, they took out 2 cores in that engagement, whereas Lotac only takes a core and a support. So I guess if you're DeToNator, you're kind of happy, but I feel like Raging Potato was definitely worth much, much more in that fight. So it's still a slight win for Lotac in the end, as their cores are too far behind to really care about too much.
They might find more. Fly Solo getting caught out. Chuan is there. Very nice play from Raven to set that up. And now Ben-Hur trying to make a run for it, but the Hex was there as well. And DeToNator sticking around a bit too long. Will end up losing 2 more heroes on their side.
Yeah, that's a bit confident from DeToNator to still hang around there as 2. They knew Lotac still had a good amount of heroes in that area. They just fought in that area. And they opt to still stay there. A bit of an odd choice from DeToNator. You definitely can't give those kinds of kills away to a team like Lotac. They can still play catch-up. I mean, Scam is going to have that Battle Fury in maybe the next minute and a half, 2 minutes. Once that's up, DeToNator is going to have to really push the map a bit more. The control is not as good as it was in Game 1 at this point in time, and definitely want to stop Scam from farming. He's been farming okay, playing catch-up quite nicely. The moment he overtakes Raging Potato's TB is the moment I'd be a bit worried about DeToNator's game plan here, Mike.
Yeah, but that's certainly a while away. I mean, 1.3k is the difference right now in net worth between Raging Potato and Scam. Again, of course, that Battle Fury will speed things up quite a lot, but he still has a bit to go for that, and they will actually go for a smoke now on the side of Lotac. Scam will be joining them as well, and it looks like Sam H will be the target. They actually find him, however. Sam H just sticking around that tree line, and Scam has broken the smoke to farm up. So Lotac is just waiting behind him, and they're just hoping that they can bait the side of DeToNator out, but it looks like Raging Potato has spotted him out with the illusions, and now they make an immediate run for it. Chuan desperately trying to find a Yule's target, but nobody really around. Raging Potato thinking about turning this one around himself. He's got Metamorphosis, but there's a lot of heroes there. Thunder also up and ready to go, and now Ben-Hur joins in. Stomp was there from Elder Titan, and it looks like that should be it for the moment, though. RR also chasing, finds a stun onto the Elder Titan. Again, they're diving really far for this, and now RR gonna find himself in trouble. So he does have the shield available, and Lotac, I'm kind of shocked to see that they didn't take that team fight, but they do end up backing off themselves.
Yeah, both sides are definitely playing a bit safer around this time, Mike. Not really going for the aggressive moves and just kind of shakily trading blows while not really committing to any sort of big initiation. I'm not sure who really wins out there, as that was a lot of heroes just running around up top. I guess in the end, kind of happy Raging Potatoes was just farming in the jungle. He did leave at some point. But that was a fair bit of time wasted from both sides. It does look like Lotac will keep the pressure up. They have wards available, so that tier 2 could be under pressure fairly soon, Mike.
Yeah, certainly so. Sam H will be there, but again, the Serpent wards have been dropped. Ara moves his way in. Very dangerous to try and clear those out. They do hex him up immediately. Now the Stomp as well as the Shackles. Just everything being thrown out at this Sven, and they do find the pick off. They just want a very easy tier 2, and it looks like they will be able to get it. Nice little play coming out from Lotac, and well, DeToNator really just didn't seem to know how to respond to that.
It definitely seemed like DeToNator wasn't keen on really defending that tier 2. They only threw up what? Again, the Sven and the Batrider up, who just got his blink. Really not much of a defense at all. I think DeToNator was going to accept that. With wards up, they were just going to lose that tower, which is fair enough. It looks like they might give away their... They have given away their mid-tier 1 as well, so... That bit of mid control is gone, although it's pretty late for it to be gone anyway, 16 minutes in. I don't think you're too upset with your DeToNator now. That tower was going to fall at some point.
Well, the bot lane as well being pushed in again by Raging Potato, though Ohio on that Abaddon. Be able to get in there and make sure he does protect it a bit longer. Meanwhile, Lotac just taking over the jungle of DeToNator. So map control does appear to be going the way of Lotac for the moment. And well, while I was saying that, Skem, he does also manage to pick up that Battle Fury now. So, I mean, this is what you could have, you really wanted if you were on the side of Lotac, right? Like, you wanted that map control as soon as Skem got that Battle Fury up so he could actually get some farm going.
Yeah, I mean, they've done a good job securing that, although...
Yeah, Raven gonna be in trouble. They don't need to commit that lasso for him, and Raven should just be a very easy pick-off for Ben-Hur, and it will be. Meanwhile, however, RR got caught out. Laguna was committed, but he does manage to just use his stick charges and walk away from that quite safely.
Yeah, not the biggest loss in the world, not getting that kill in RR. I suppose the support for a support would have been nice, but again, not too upset if you are a Lotac right now. You have definitely bought a lot of space for a troll to really farm up. And farm he is. He's working towards what looks to be an SNY coming out soon. Maybe a BKB and a Yasha. I'm not quite sure with that Ogre Club, but any of those would do a lot of work for Skem here. And we'll see if he does hit a decent time. He's been doing fine. He's had free farm for a while.
DeToNator look to make a push now. Exorcism is available as well as that Metamorphosis. So they are trying to find a nice little pick-off before they can go for those tier 2s. They may end up finding Ohio in the backlines, but that's a hard target. In fact, never mind. They get going with the lasso. Straight onto Chuan on that Lina, but they can't quite burst him down. They will get the Elder Titan, and that Will-O-Wisp keeps Chuan in there to make sure they can burst him out. Now Skem in a lot of danger. Does pop the Battle Trance, but he will be used up, and he's in a lot of danger, and he just goes down, I'm sure. He can't really heal himself up fast enough. They did manage to get the Diakuria at the very least, and I believe that was the Serpent Wards that got it. But nevertheless, 3 heroes lost on the side of Lotac, and it looks like it may just be a Roshan as well being lost. They do head to the pit immediately on the side of DeToNator.
Yeah, there's no way you can really contest this as Lotac at this point. You can try, I suppose you still have the Earth Splitter up. I just don't think it's going to be prudent as, you know, the Rosh is going to fall anyway by the time your posts respawn. So, completely free Roshan going the way of DeToNator, and I feel like that will help them maintain the pressure here. And one unfortunate thing from that team fight is, of course, that you couldn't use that DP ultimate to really get a push going.
They're going
too far out.
Earth Splitter will not connect on anyone, though. Laguna Blade will take down Sam H, and that Roshan is so darn low right now, but they couldn't quite take it out. Raging Potato, he's out of Metamorphosis. Ben-Hur, no Exorcism either. They're going to get started on Ohio, but he does have the borrowed time available. For the moment, they continue the Roshan. It's so darn low. Ohio, though, manning up and running in by himself to try and scout it out. Borrowed time was committed, however, and he won't have that available. And Raven, he ends up losing his own life in the backlines. Now Ohio going to be the target. He's not so tanky without that ultimate, though apparently he is. He'll just run out again. But the Roshan, so low. Raging Potato, can he finish it? Yes, he can, but the stop! The Aegis is still on the deck, and it looks like RR managed to snatch it off the side of Lotac, who got the Roshan kill, but you don't want to give it to the Sven. Nevertheless, Chuan almost ends up falling, and they will make the chase onto Scam. But a very, very nice stun coming out from Chuan to make sure they can't find the kill onto the Troll Warlord. So they got the Roshan kill confirmed. And they do force out the Aegis to go out on the Sven, and they take that out immediately. So I guess Lotac, they're going to be very happy with that. As well as that, John, they did force out the buyback from Sam H.
Yeah, definitely a good trade for Lotac. I'm a bit surprised that DeToNator was really a bit sloppy there, just not really getting what they wanted from that Roche pit. And I'm quite surprised that Lotac managed to find everything they wanted. Like, getting that Roshan gold, making that Aegis basically worthless. It's a very big win for Lotac. Buys them a lot of time to let Scam just catch up. And catch up he is, as he is slowly approaching what looks to be, again, I think the BKB is going to take precedence here. So BKB first, Yasha afterwards. I think that's a fair enough choice. As long as Scam is not being controlled, he has free reign in these fights, I think.
Sure does seem that way. That BKB certainly going to make a difference in these team fights. Of course, top net worth is still on the side of DeToNator. Raging Potato has not backed off that farm and is going to be going for a very, very quick Eye of Skadi on that Terrorblade. Does have 4k gold, like he's going to have it pretty darn soon. So, Lotac certainly not backing off. Now Raging Potato does make his way into the enemy jungle. Lotac not interested whatsoever in any kind of engagement right now because Exorcism and Metamorphosis, I believe, are both up. So, see if DeToNator can get in range to try and take some towers down. Ohio, though, bot lane did manage to deny the tier 2 bot tower. So some nice gold being denied from the side of DeToNator. And it also looks like Ohio is just about to pick up a full Radiance for himself.
Yeah, that's the Radiance is really when you start to get annoying as the Abaddon. You're just always going to have that on for a fairly long time, and the damage output is pretty good if you think about it in terms of total damage done to the enemy team. It's going to be really hard to deal with for DeToNator, I feel. They don't really have the most amazing burst to really just execute Ohio's Abaddon just yet. So, the fact that he's going to get pretty decent timing on it, it's going to be really potent for Lotac.
Well, you just saw DeToNator as well. They drew out a line going through that bot lane towards that tier 3 tower. I'm not sure if they intend to go through with that, but find out very soon. So Ohio does manage to now pick up that Radiance. Lotac perhaps willing to fight. Ohio does show it as well. DeToNator just waiting in the tree line. They do opt to back out. And now a smoke will come out of Lotac, so they want to try and be the aggressors here. Nice scan coming out as well. They just caught Fly Solo on the edge of that. Lotac, how do you initiate into this? The smoke is now broken, Ohio. Of course, the first man in. They can't really burst him down either. They've got to go for those backlines, and Yamate will be the target. It's a lot of damage being done, but now they've got the Serpent Wards down, and the Terrorblade. He's falling very, very low. Will-O-Wisp, will it be enough? Yes, it will. Raging Potato. He'll barely get the Sunder off. Meanwhile, the lasso onto Chuan, and they will burst him down. However, they will lose Ben-Hur in the process. That Will-O-Wisp doing so much work for the side of DeToNator. Keep them in this team fight. Now a double stun from RR. Raging Potato thinking about going back in. Raven will be the target though. The shackles will be there, but they won't be enough. They will find Fly Solo as a trade on the side of Lotac, and now Ohio, he's going to be the target. He doesn't have any more borrowed time, but the stomps coming out from that Elder Titan really dragging out this team fight. They're going to find, at the very least, Sam H. They should be able to get RR, and they do. Now Skem looking for a bit more. He can't quite find it, but that was definitely a nice win coming out from Lotac.
Very nice, fairly clean win for Lotac, and again a bit sloppy coming up from DeToNator. I feel like they're definitely not getting the initiations they want so far. They've
Ohio. Just not scared of anything right now as this Abaddon, and Raging Potato has a lot to be afraid about, although Ben-Hur does come in, and Ohio apparently stuck around a bit too long. Will end up losing his life, and he did manage to snag that boundary rune, however, so I suppose you could argue that is some nice gold going towards his team.
It's something going to his team. I don't think you really want to lose Ohio at this point in the game. Not with how farmed he is at this point. It would have been very big if they managed to get the kill on Raging Potato first, though, I have to admit. If they managed to get our Raging there, you know, it would have been worthwhile whether or not Ohio lived. But he does get away with his life. I feel like what DeToNator has to play around now is the timing, their talents coming out. Raging Potato needs that reflection cooldown to come out, so he can really just be a nuisance to the opposing team like that. And I feel like you definitely need a bit more on Sam H's Batrider. 4-staff should be out at this point, and once that's out, it will make your initiation much easier to pull off. Otherwise, it's really hard. I don't think DeToNator can really start these fights on their terms fully yet without that instant pullback from Batrider. You also kind of want a blink on your Sven at some point after the pipe, perhaps. Just having that initiation, having those initiation options are going to be really helpful, because right now, again, DeToNator just seems to rely on a blink lasso coming out from Sam H.
Both teams sticking back for the moment. Again, going back to that farm. Skem doing a fantastic job on that troll now. He's getting very close to Raging Potato on that TB. To be fair, he's still about almost 3k behind, but didn't really seem to matter too much in that last engagement. Of course, Raging Potato going to be going for a BKB of his own now on that Terrorblade. Does feel like he's going to need that magic immunity, especially against that Shadow Shaman and the Lina. Meanwhile, mid lane, bit of a push starting from the side of DeToNator. Juan, however, will be there, and he does actually have a go at RR on that Sven. Does get the stun. The Serpent Wards as well being dropped, and it looks like this should be a very easy pick-off onto the support Sven. Not sure how worthwhile it was to drop the Serpent Wards, but still, at the very least, he's gone for 35 seconds, and you're going to feel a lot more safe if you're on the Radiant side.
Definitely so. It's at the very least, you slow down that Sven, who again is building up a bit. Once that pipe is up, I feel like you definitely put a bit more in your Sven. Probably go for, again, that blink dagger is going to be really useful for DeToNator. It's going to help your initiation quite a fair bit. Even even some more aura items to complement the pipe and the Vlads would be pretty strong. But again, it's all down to what DeToNator wants. And again, they're just waiting on some core power spikes right now. Raging Potato with that level 20, and a few items coming out on for Sam H. So I feel like before then, you're not going to see DeToNator really force the issue too much here.
Well, Lotac, they have smoked up. RR, again, closest target to them right now. They may have a go at it. So Ohio taking a few stacks of the neutrals in the jungle. Now still waiting for somebody to run by their path. So it does look like DeToNator will smoke up on their own, and well, they run straight into Ohio. That's the last target they want to go for right now. Meanwhile, in the backlines, it looks like Raging Potato was caught out a bit, but they are going to continue moving forward straight onto Raven. But where the hell's the damage? They've all been put to sleep. Raging Potato finally brings out the BKB. He's going to start racking up Skem, who has been ripping apart his backline. RR is already gone. Now Skem wants to get the hell out of there. But it looks like Lotac not interested when that exorcism came out, though they did force the buyback out of the Shadow Shaman, and now Chuan finds the Yules, finds the stun, can't find any more, although Raven jumps in with that buyback and does help set up the kill onto Raging Potato. Now they will go after Ben-Hur on that Death Prophet. No exorcism left, she will end up going down, and Lotac again finding a very, very clean engagement for themselves.
Yeah, definitely a very worthwhile buyback from Raven there, having him in that fight really secure that kill onto Skem's Terrorblade, onto Raging Potato's Terrorblade, and really caused DeToNator a lot. At this point, it's starting to feel a bit iffy for DeToNator. They're not taking these fights the way they should be. Their initiation, I have to say, is a bit sloppy, and Sam H just hasn't been as disruptive as you'd want in the Bat Rider. You really want them to just immediately be taken out of fights, but their initiation has not been on point. So, you know, it's really hard for DeToNator at this point to take 5v5, because again, the team fight from Lotac's just that good. You have the Elder Titan, you have the Shadow Shaman, you have a Abaddon that you can't ignore anymore. It's really hard to deal with, and you really need to push their numbers advantage with one clean pick off first.
Well, the Roshan being taken by Lotac, of course, Aegis will go to Skem. RR looking to set up with that God Strength, the lasso as well. They want to burst out that Aegis. Raging Potato jumps in, no Metamorphosis available on him. He does get 4 staff back, but this doesn't look great for the side of DeToNator. They are still trying to take down the Aegis of Skem, and they will finally get it. But that'll be all they get, surely. But no, never mind, they will jump in again. Skem, though, turns around, and he's just going to rip apart Fly Solo, who ran way too forward. Now RR as well is going to get taken down by Skem, and they found another in Sam H and DeToNator. I'm not sure what the game plan was there, John, but they're about to lose a tier 3 and probably at least a Rax.
Yeah, no buybacks on Sam H or any of the supports. Basically stuck to defend on their own 2v5. I'm not sure how much you can really do here, or you can really hope for if you're a DeToNator at this point.
Well, 1 Rax gone. Should be a secondary as well coming up for the side of Lotac. They can't go for the third because there is still a tier 1 and tier 2 tower, but just taking down these 2 Raxes will put them in quite a lead. And speaking of lead, net worth 18k now their way. DeToNator, such a different team from game number 1. Just not able to get that same initiation off, and Lotac, they've really started to take over this game number 2.
They definitely have 18k network lead, as you mentioned, at 32 minutes in. Raging Potato now falling behind Skem, who had a bit of a rough start. I think this is the point where you really start to worry as DeToNator. Terrorblade really shines when he's ahead. The fact that he's even sandwiched between the cores of Lotac is not a good sign. It's very telling. Sam H is way too far behind. You've got your Death Prophet who's behind as well. Their impact has started to get really minimal, especially the prevalence of BKBs coming out, Mike. It's hard for these guys to make an impact. It's all really riding on Raging Potato to get his items, to get his levels going. And I'm not sure if DeToNator can hold out long enough with the deficit they have in this game, Mike.
Well, Lotac will start moving forward with the smoke. They want to continue this aggression. And why the hell not? I mean, they've been doing so great with it as well. Another nice scan coming out from the side of Lotac as well. And they get that initiation with Yamate. Spirit will scout them out. Stomp will not connect on anyone, however. But it looks like they are just going to go after that tier 1 bot tower instead. We really questioned the Abaddon pick coming out onto Ohio, but it's really paid off so far, though. DeToNator looping around the back line. They want to go after that Shadow Shaman and the Lina first. Another smoke will come out, but it does get spotted. Now Ohio, again in the right place at the right time, but the Will-O-Wisp is going to be painful. Though Blinding Light will knock them out of the Will-O-Wisp range, and now Skem just going to start right-clicking them while he can. They will get rid of Chuan, but this doesn't look amazing for DeToNator, although they keep moving forward. Skem, he will take down RR. They're going to try and go for that Elder Titan, and perhaps now they can take a good engagement. Skem is left pretty much by himself, but he does have a cheese and he does eat it immediately. The buybacks as well, coming out onto Yamate. Skem still surrounded, but man fighting up Raging Potato and will take him out. The Yules as well, saving him for the moment, and now they will find Ben-Hur, who looked like he may have been able to survive, but it's a triple coming out from Skem, and again, you've got to give it to Ohio. Like, he's just being so darn annoying on that Abaddon.
Definitely has been, Mike, and he's been playing this hero quite well. Really doing what he needs to do, and just securing all these fights for Lotac at this point. I have to say I'm really disappointed with what's been going on so far. I feel like Raging Potato held out in his Sunder for way too long. He was dropping way too low. Wanted to get a bit more value from switching down. In the end, he just dies without using the Sunder at all in that fight, and that's a lot of waste from a hero that really depends on that, especially once he hits 25. I feel like it was such a miss. If Raging Potato lived a bit longer, that might have gone favorably for DeToNator if they managed to take out Skem, but That's not the case here. Raging Potato died fast, and well, they're down to their last set of racks. No tier 3s available anymore to pull that off, and it's just a matter of time until Lotac decides to push the issue and take mecha creeps, even in the game. DeToNator is definitely pushed to the back line now, Mike. Backs against the wall. They definitely need a little bit more to come out before really forcing the issue.
Yeah, I mean, Scam's getting out of control as well. Like, he's got a butterfly up now on that troll. Oh, man, this is going to be a hard troll to kill. He's going straight into that Satanic as that last item. Like, what the hell do you even do? Octarine Core as well, coming out now into Ohio, so he just becomes that much harder to kill. Not to mention the shield spam that comes out from him. There's so many ways to protect Scam on that Troll Warlord until he can pop that Battle Trance. DeToNator just on the full defense. Sitting up at that high ground, making sure they don't get anyone picked off before the engagement begins. While Lotac, they will of course continue up the farm while they can. Try to finish off that Satanic onto Scam before they try to engage in the next team fight. They could even just wait for the next Roshan, honestly, like if they wanted to play it really safely.
Yeah, again, it's not in Lotac's end to really force the issue now. We are approaching the point where the TV does start to feel a bit behind, especially with this kind of net worth. He's falling behind even Ohio right now in terms of net worth. And really not a good spot for DeToNator. All their gold is really just riding on Raging Potato. I mean, there's not much gold on Ben-Hur. There's not much gold on Sam H. So it's really all on Raging Potato right now to do damage, to be in front, to get everything done in these team fights. And I don't think his Terrorblade's nearly equipped enough to do what is expected of him.
Nevertheless, Scam continues that farm. Roshan, we're going to find out in about a minute when it's up, although the engagement has started, but it is Ohio that they're trying to go up against, and he is not afraid of anything right now. Trying to burst him down just a bit, but he literally seems like he cops no damage as this Abaddon.
He really doesn't.
Yeah. They're going to start moving forward now. You can't blame him. Lotac want to try and finish this game off. Wards have been dropped. How do you even approach this if you're on the side of DeToNator? Well, they're going to just move forward and try for it. Scam still full HP. Blinding Light, it delays it just a bit, but Scam is not afraid. And now the Stomp as well. They've caught 3 of them out. But Lotac, they do not engage. They'll just take this slow and steady. Almost trying to prompt Raging Potato to waste that Metamorphosis or the Exorcism on Ben-Hur. They don't really pull the trigger quite yet, but they are just 1 Raindrax away from losing from gaining Mega Creeps on the side of Lotac. Double damage as well now, coming out on Scam to make matters even harder.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Sam H gonna sit in the tree line on the right side, hoping to find a lasso, but Ohio again just moves in. Scam will get used up, but he'll be alright. The stun will be there as well, but they can't really chase into that.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Ohio, again, just gatekeeping for the side of Lotac. And that final Rax now is gone as well. Scam will just take it out with that double damage. More than happy to back off safely as well. DeToNator, they're going to try and find something. The Will-O-Wisp has dropped as well. They're trying to go after the Shadow Shaman, though Scam, meanwhile, on the backline's going after Raging Potato, though he is still not down, but they silence him up thanks to Ohio. And with that, I mean, no buyback available in Raging Potato. How do they defend this? They've lost another in Sam H, and they're going to lose a third one in Ben-Hur, and they call GG well played. They've had enough, John. And now we have a very convincing win coming out from Lotac for game number 2.
Yeah, I mean, Lotac managed to fix the mistakes they made in game 1. They buy enough space for Scam to farm up. DeToNator just playing on the back a bit too long. Not really getting enough done. Sam H didn't get quite the amount of farm he wanted. And I feel like that DP potential was a bit wasted with, the push kind of slowing down by mid-game. So, very well played from Lotac, and we'll see if DeToNator can pull it out the back. It's back to a best of 1, Mike, as we go into game 3.
Yeah, very exciting indeed. We'll see which either team can pull it off. But, I mean, John, we questioned the draft from Lotac, especially that Abaddon pick. We really did have no faith in it, but Ohio apparently pulls it off pretty much single-handedly, it feels like. If they didn't have that Abaddon pick in the game, it may just not have gone that way whatsoever for the side of Lotac. But nevertheless, let's see how game number 3 turns out. It is, of course, MLP Dota and johnxfire. We'll hopefully be back very, very soon for game number 3. Won't be too long.